Welcome to Mission Control Houston. Today, the Try and Prove It show will be conducting an integrated field test. The internet can speculate on all kinds of secret transmitter systems, but here on the Try and Prove It show, we have to prove it.
Please set the hot compute to armed.
System is armed.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, start sequence, 1, 5. Nominal under pressure.
And we are live. If you can hear us okay, please give us a 5x5 in the comments. Thank you, Kelly. We also have James May coming on tonight as well. I have some new lighting and a tighter camera angle. And tonight we are going to have a sort of two sections of the show. We're going to talk to James first about some new developments in the case, as well as some old things. We want to talk about some things I've been thinking about, some things that Kelly's been thinking about, and we're going to do that for about half an hour. I'm going to keep track of that, and then we are going to actually go into the new Try and Prove It YouTube channel only. We're going to switch. We're not going to be streaming from my channel or from Kelly's channel on YouTube. We're on X. At that point, we are going to go only to the Try and Prove It channel. I did put the link to that channel in the description on YouTube, and I also posted it somewhere on X if you're watching on X. We'll figure that out later. But when after about 30 minutes, we'll say goodbye to James, and we will head over exclusively to the Try and Prove It. That is, the handle for that on X is at Try and Prove It. And then it's just the Try and Prove It YouTube channel on YouTube. So we're going to switch in about half an hour. So if you come back in 45 minutes and it's over, just go to the description in YouTube or go to at Try and Prove It on X to find us there. And without further ado, how are you doing, Kelly?
Doing great. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful week. Seeing that intro video really got me jazzed. So thank you so much, Jordan, for putting that together. It kind of gives me chills just reliving that moment. That was a big deal. I mean, that was months of work for you, all culminating in, just a matter of seconds. And I know that there's more that you have up your sleeve or up your white freedom shirt, I guess you could say. But that was really cool to get to see.
Yeah. And we're doing another one this Saturday. There's going to be some upgrades. We have a new camera that's going to show the rifle in sync with everything else. And I also have a second solenoid valve that I have here. This is the second one now. And I'm going to be able to simulate the necklace behavior. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think it'll be the necklace behavior. I think that's what I'll do. But we have upgrades on that test every week. And it's going to be less windy because we had an issue with that the last couple times. I'm also going to have actual video footage stored locally of it so that it's not like even worse potato cam footage than we had from Charlie Kirk, because that's what we had last time. So we're going to fix all that stuff, hopefully. And Kelly did a really good job of presenting and hosting that. And we're going to make it better next week. So anyway, our first thing to do tonight is we're going to get James's reaction to that field test. I'm going to explain what it was real fast. Basically, and this is for James, because on this show, we really like to have differing opinions, different perspectives. When we don't want an echo chamber, we want to have people come on who disagree with us so that we can get feedback on our ideas from people who don't agree with us, who will actually give us good constructive feedback. And James has been on the show many times, and he's amazing. When he comes on here, he gives us really good feedback, and we really appreciate it. That's why we keep having him come back on. He's great. So I'm going to briefly describe what the test was this past Saturday. When I speculate about what happened to Charlie Kirk, when I say that, oh, it was a squib, and oh, there was a puff of air in the back because there was a second squib, and oh, they synced the rifle shot to the squib using some kind of magical computer transmitter thing that nobody can actually describe or reproduce. What I did in this test is I actually put it in concrete. I built the system that is required to synchronize the squib to the rifle shot with transmitters in real life, in real world, to demonstrate, hey, this stuff actually works. It's not just speculation. We can demonstrate it. We know how it works. And in the process of doing that, we find out that, oh, we need a backpack that will house some of the gear. And we need another backpack that will house some of the other gear by the rifle and by Charlie Kirk. And what we can find out is, oh, when you look inside that backpack, it was pictured in the, what is that? What was that?
The universe telling you you're on the right track.
It must be, I don't know what that was. And I lost my train of thought. But what we find out is when we do these tests, when we do these demonstrations, when we actually build it in real life with our own bare hands, we learn things about the case, about the anomalies that we observe on the day with Charlie Kirk. When you look inside the main backpack that needs to be beside Charlie, it's basically a TVU backpack that Kelly talks about sometimes. It's basically the exact same thing. It's just not for live video, it's for a squib and for a remote rifle. When you look inside that backpack, it looks like a bomb. And it was featured in the video there. It looks like a bomb. It feels like a bomb because it has a heavy battery. And because it has a heavy battery and it looks like a bomb. So when you look at Mikey McCoy, we need someone to carry that backpack. And we think that's why, or at least I think that's why Mikey McCoy got out of there so fast, is because he's basically wearing a bomb or something that looks like a bomb, and he wants to get out of there as soon as he possibly can. And I see Blake in the comments, whatever. But I just posted to X a video of when he came on my channel. He's not welcome on my channel anymore, but when he came on my channel and we sort of debated for about half an hour, I told him, one day soon, I'm going to be able to go out into a field and I'm going to demonstrate the CO2 pendant gun. And it's going to be backpacks and it's going to look like a bomb. And what do you know? Last Saturday, I did exactly that. And it worked. It didn't work the first time, but it worked the second time. So I said something and it turned out to come true. So, James, do you have any questions about this test or comments on, do you think it proved anything or what do you think about it?
I'll, we'll see. That's kind of been my opinion. I mean, until we find something that's 100% definitive, I'm open to it, but at the same time, like I haven't seen anything 100% definitive.
What's your thoughts on why Mikey McCoy left so fast?
People act in a chaotic situation. People act chaotically. So I don't know exactly what he was doing. I don't know if he just freaked out and needed to leave. Like, so that's just my opinion. Like, and I've been in situations where people that are used to being around trauma, if it's somebody that they know and love and care about, that response kind of goes out the window. And I've also seen that same person when something happens and they're there, like they spring into action, they know what to do. So, chaos makes people behave chaotically.
But James, to your point of not seeing something 100%, behave exactly the same way that we saw on 9/10, I mean, you haven't seen anything behave exactly the same way we saw on 9/10, including a bullet.
So with the bullet, like bullets are just unpredictable. I've had arguments with people about the bullet, and I've researched it, looked into papers written about the trajectory of bullets, especially when they go through bodies. And every paper that I've read, it just basically says that they're just unpredictable because the body has too many structures that will make a bullet behave unpredictably. So, then one thing that they bring up is that your skin is elastic and bouncy. Your muscles have more of or less that same kind of tendency, but the tendons have a different elasticity, and then bone is pretty hard, but there's elasticity. Like
Is a 30-06
anybody,
bullet predictable?
oh, absolutely not. And this is coming from
I
people that
think it
hunt.
is.
The people that hunt will tell you that they've shot deer and that the bullets have ricocheted. Like somebody said, they shot a deer in the rib cage and it hit a rib bone and it bounced all up and down into the body. And I think the bullet ended up in the hindquarters or something like that.
It sounds to me like a fishtail. It was this big.
You want me to tell you who said it? It's somebody that I think everybody knows. No, I won't. But it's somebody that everybody knows, and that person is an avid hunter.
Okay, so back to the field test. For me to convince you that the fake death theory has weight, for you to consider it as a viable candidate explanation, what would I need to do in the field test to convince you of that? Not that it's right, but that it's a good candidate explanation for what happened.
Uh, you would have to convince me that the family of Charlie Kirk would go along with faking his death. And then you would also have to convince me that Charlie Kirk would be okay with faking his own death. I don't see that from everything that I've seen. Like that would be extremely out of character for him.
Did you know him personally?
No, and I'm just saying, just off of what I know, it just seems like something that he wouldn't do. It goes against all of his principles, lying and not being forthright and truth telling and everything like that. That doesn't seem like him. But
Has there
yeah,
So
ever
you're
been
right. I
a,
don't know.
a politician, maybe who just because he's in politics, right? Like a politician who you've believed in and felt like they had upstanding character, who then later turned out to not be as upstanding as you thought that they were, just for kicks.
Absolutely not. There are no upstanding politicians. I've known some politicians. Every single last one of them are are doing two things. They want to get reelected, and they'll lie to get reelected.
they're actors, right?
They are big time actors.
So let me ask you then, are you asking why would Charlie Kirk the character fake his death, or are you asking why would Charlie Kirk the actor fake his death?
I guess I can ask both. Well, I don't guess. I can ask both. I'm asking both. And on top of that, I don't think Charlie Kirk is necessarily a politician. He's a political figure, but he's not a politician.
But he's a character. He's not real.
Define what you mean by he's a character.
I mean, a
He
figure
is
at minimum.
a public figure who's highly curated, who exists in the public eye to serve a purpose, who has lines, who has beliefs and political opinions and habits that are intended to serve a political goal that are not necessarily who he actually is.
Uh, I could see that, but to the degree that he would fake his death is not as that's not a boundary I don't think he would cross.
Let's go back to the physical evidence, though, because I think that's where we should start. If we see an anomaly with the shirt, we see an anomaly with the back of the shirt, we see an anomaly with the necklace, we see an anomaly with no exit wound, we see an anomaly with the audio that puts it into the van and not into Charlie Kirk. We have to start asking a lot of questions about, is the best explanation for this really the one that makes everything a super weird anomaly? Or is it better to look for alternative explanations that actually make sense of every observation that we make, that actually makes sense of the necklace behavior, that actually makes sense of the shirt behavior, that actually makes sense of the back of the shirt behavior, that actually makes sense of why the bullet sound would be going into the van and not the trunk. Would it make sense if I can go out into a field and demonstrate every last one of those things in real world conditions and reproduce the neck prosthetic with the blood coming out and go to a pizza place wearing the whole thing and order a pizza and just sit there for 20 minutes and not have anyone see that I'm wearing anything, but still at the same time be able to just press a button and have all this blood come out of my neck. If I can demonstrate all of that stuff and explain the shirt behavior and explain the necklace, explain the back of the shirt, explain the blood, why it comes out coagulated when it shouldn't, explain all these things, would that make the fake death theory a better or at least equivalent candidate hypothesis compared to the federal narrative?
No, because then you would have to prove who all was in on it to fake his death. I mean, you'd have to prove that the family was in on it. You would have to prove that the court was in on it. The judge was in on it. You would have to prove that his parents were in on it. You would have to prove that the coroner was in on it. You would have to prove the
But wouldn't the
university was
physical
possibly
evidence
in it.
prove that?
You know, no, not really, because it could be explained by the fact that he just got shot.
Couldn't
I mean,
also couldn't the contextual evidence also be explained by it's a conspiracy?
No, I mean, if you really want to go that way, I mean, you just prove that you can fake a death is all you've done. You haven't proved the other things. So the first step would be you would have to prove that he faked the death, and then you would have to prove that there's a wider conspiracy with people involved. So if you prove the first part, the fake death, sure, but then you have to prove the other portions of the equation.
Let me ask you this. Would you agree that it's best to, when we're trying to figure out what happened, would you agree that it's best to start with what physically happened? The
Sure,
physical evidence?
sure.
Okay. And what is the forgetting the contextual stuff, if I can demonstrate every single anomaly on the body and explain exactly why it would happen that way and do it exactly that same way, wouldn't, if it is best, if you agree that it is best to start with the physical evidence, wouldn't that lead you towards not trying to say, oh, we have to prove that the family did this. We have to prove that this person did that. We have to prove that it was a huge conspiracy. Would it be better to do that? Or would it be better to say, okay, we've established that the best explanation for the physical anomalies is X. Now we need to ask, okay, what further research can we do to maybe explore why that would have happened? Not to prove it, not to discredit it, but to say, okay, if that's what the physical evidence says, if that is the best demonstration by a landslide, shouldn't we look at it from the perspective of we need to figure out why this happened?
Okay, so again, if you prove that you can simulate a fake death in the same manner as Charlie Kirk, all you've really proved is that you're really good at faking a death. But even if you say, okay, well, my my I don't even know what you would call it. My demonstration proves that this is the way that he faked his death. Okay, if you want to go that route and say that's my physical evidence, you I mean, I don't think that's how you conduct an investigation.
Is that how you
But
conduct science?
uh to my knowledge, I'm not a scientist. Uh what you would do is you'd start with the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as far as I know, you don't have access to all the evidence. And really what you do have access to is I'm not going to sit here and lie. You're a really smart guy, but you don't have specific expertise. So what you do have access to is, you're a smart guy. you don't have specific expertise on ballistics or sound and things like that. So, having said all that, there's only so much that you can prove with the resources available to you. I mean, even with the sound deal, you saying it comes from the van. You know, there's a sound guy from Montana State University. I've shared that with you, and he said that it's a supersonic sound that comes out, and that's what would match the profile of a 30-06, not
Hmm.
anything subsonic or anything like that. And then he's able to pin down. It came, I think he said 140 something yards. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't exact, but it was from that area for where that shot came from. So
Yeah,
that's a
and I
guy
agree.
that's, I mean, that's a guy that wrote the book on that specific topic.
Yeah,
And
and
no
we
offense,
agree.
but yeah, I'm saying no offense,
I'm
but
saying it's basically the same thing he is, basically.
okay. But you said the sound was coming from the van.
No, I say that the sound was maybe a 30-06 coming from the
Hmm.
Losi Center roof.
I thought you said the sound came from the van.
No, the bullet went into the van from the roof.
Okay, I got you. I got you now. I misunderstood. So even then, if that's what you're saying, I mean, then you got to think about the logistics uh, of that kind of operation. Like you're
So
putting
let's think
people
about
at
it.
risk. Yeah.
So let's explore that,
Okay.
right? I mean, we can't do it right now because we don't have time, but that's the next step after the field demonstration, right? Like we have the physical evidence now saying that this is a really good explanation. Shouldn't we seriously consider that?
Consider that they were willing to potentially harm somebody by shooting a bullet from the Losi Center in the direction of Charlie Kirk to fabricate a 30-06, or not fabricate, but to simulate a 30-06 hitting Charlie in the neck.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier? It's just easier just to kill the guy.
That wasn't the mission objective. They love Charlie Kirk. That's their
Uh,
brother.
that's
They
their
don't want him
brother.
dead. What are you talking
Then why
about?
try? Then why try and kill him at all?
They're not.
Okay. Oh,
It would be
why fake
like
his day?
me trying to
Why
fake
fake his
Kelly's
death?
death in order to save Kelly. I don't want to kill Kelly. What are you talking
Okay.
about? Just kill Kelly.
So you, that's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't
Let's
make
be
any
honest,
sense. Why
James. You'd
fake his
help him
death?
fake my death too. Come
I
on
would
now.
never, never, never wish death upon you.
You would
But
you would
that's
help
what
him fake it though. That's the thing. That's exactly Jordan's point. You wouldn't wish it upon me. You would, if there was danger to my life and I felt like it was the only way for me with my only exit plan
Uh,
see,
safely.
this is my issue. I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. It would be so much easier to just kill him instead of fake his death. But they love him. What are you
okay. So
talking about?
if you love him, it would be easier just to lock him down and never have him, or well, not even lock him down, but make sure that he had government sponsored security or better security or whatever, like
Okay, so
security
you're
to
a
the
Fed.
max.
You're a Fed. You pretty much came out last, or not last show, but the show before. You're a Fed. Were you in on the meeting where they decided how they were going to save Charlie? And did you stand up and say what you just said right now? I know better. It's way easier to just do it this way instead of a fake death. Would you have stood up and said that in that meeting?
Now say that one more time.
Imagine you're in the meeting where they're discussing how on earth are we going to save Charlie from whatever, maybe it's a real death threat. How are we going to save Charlie? Someone proposes fake death. Are you going to stand up and say, "Oh no, I'm an expert on this"?
I would
I
say that is the most ridiculous thing that we can do. This guy's got a life. He's got kids. He's got people that adore him. That I would straight. That's probably the worst idea we can do.
and I'm going to say The person trying to kill him is going to stop at nothing. If it is their intention to kill him, they're going to succeed because they want it so bad. The
Okay.
only way we can get him to not be dead
Okay.
is to convince them that he's already dead. So let's do that.
In a very public way. Okay. Charlie Kirk is not, could not be Rapunzel that you lock up in a castle somewhere, right? And hide for, the rest of his life. Like, I just don't think that, and also it's not practical to have him be you can't say, oh, I'm going to get him the best security that money can buy and government protection out the wazoo. He was already probably paying $1 million+ a year for his security, no doubt. He'd bragged before about having top level security, but have you seen how many times people do turn on you? Right? I mean, who could you trust in that point? And if there's a will, there's a way, right? So why not help him facilitate safely getting out as quickly as possible when you've got all your crew around you?
So there's a couple of things that you would probably do first. You'd probably eliminate the threat, and if you can't eliminate the threat, you mitigate the threat. Uh, I believe that Charlie, like anybody that's famous, has death threats thrown at him all the time. But at the same time, it would be better just to get rid of the threat. So, and he has access to, the president. He has access to all sorts of things. I think it would just
The
be easier
president
for
almost got
them.
killed.
Yeah, the president almost got killed. And I say this to people all the time. And I don't know if it falls on deaf ears or whatever, but uh, sometimes people just suck at their jobs. I mean, there are governors that get elected and they suck at their jobs. You hire a plumber,
So maybe the
he just
person
sucks
who
at his
decided
job.
it should be a fake death, maybe they sucked at their job.
Yeah, that if they sucked at their job, okay.
Okay,
What I would
before
say
we get
is,
too far,
yeah,
away, though, I want to go back to something that you just said because otherwise I'll forget it. Is that you said he had access all the way up to the president? I agree, he did, and that's why now was the time to facilitate all of this, right? He was friends with Cash Patel. He was friends with Dan Bongino. Bongino's wife worked for Andrew Colvette doing Turning Point stuff. I mean, everywhere you look, he was set up with people around him at literally all layers. So he had the best possible scenario to facilitate exiting stage right and being able, in theory, to cover it up.
If
so
anyone could fake their death, it was Charlie.
so I do want to point out a couple things. I think incompetence can explain a lot of things. There was a guy who went to one of Donald Trump's rallies, I believe it was in Montana, and they had barricades set up, and then they had checkpoints and everything like that to get in to see the president speak. And this is when he was running against Kamala Harris, and the guy was sitting there, and he's like, well, one person went over the barricade, just kind of cut the line, and then another person saw it, and then after a while, people were just kind of bunching up and not even following the barricades. And it's just because they didn't have enough staff and it wasn't organized. And this is the front runner for the United States, being the president of the United States. So, with Charlie Kirk, from what I gather from that day, there were people saying that there were tickets there, but at the end of the day, they were just basically saying, we know we have a ticketing system to get in here, but we're just throwing that out the window. We're just going to try and manage the situation as it goes. So I just believe it was a bunch of incompetence that can explain a lot of the things that happened that day. And then on top of that, with him faking his death, I still can't get to where that benefit lies. Like, what's the benefit in having a couple of kids think their dead their dad is dead? Like, come on, like, would you fake your death so and have your kids think you're dead for all of their life.
Do you think that do you think that there's so many questions. We don't even know if the kids are really his kids. We don't even know if they exist because we've already established that none of us here actually knew Charlie in real life. And I would guarantee that none of us here actually know his kids either. And none of us here really know if his kids, what scenario the kids actually know about what happened. We're going based off of what Erica says in some national TV interviews, and we have definitely already established that she is not a credible individual.
No, we haven't established that.
And no
You guys
dad
may
in the
have.
history of America has ever kind of just not wanted to deal with their kids anymore, right?
Yeah, but from all that we've seen of Charlie, he's been super involved with his kids' lives, and it just doesn't gel from what we know of him. And then for people saying that
What
those
do you
aren't his
know of him,
kids,
though?
oh, I'm just saying what we know of him publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And for
Publicly.
people say, yeah, yeah, exactly. And for people to say that his kids might not really even exist, uh, that would get out some way somehow.
It
Like,
did, didn't it?
no, there might be rumors or speculations that I don't know about, but I've never seen anybody sit there and say that's any credible or anything like that come out and say those aren't his kids.
How have those kids been on stages and no one has ever sold a picture of those kids' faces to TMZ or something? That's what I want to, that's one question I would ask.
So with TMZ and a lot of these places, if I believe, and you could speak to this, Kelly, if somebody makes a concerted effort to keep their kids under wraps, would it be unethical for that news organization to plaster that kid's face all over the place?
It would be unethical, but I think we've certainly established that TMZ's ethics are
Are you kidding me?
in
Come
the
on.
dumpster at best.
Well, I'm not saying they have great ethics, but like that would be a glaring example. I mean, Charlie's already polarizing, and for you to come out and say, "Screw
Okay,
all
the
that, here is
National
kids."
Enquirer, the Sun. I mean, somebody's gonna buy it. Perez Hilton. I don't know. Some blogger on X. You guys, like, no one has had pictures of the kids' faces.
Well, for all we know, nobody has pictures of the kids' faces.
But they have
I
been
can't.
on stages. I'm just saying, like, they have
I've never
been
seen them on
on
stage.
allegedly. Well, unless those are AI and photoshopped pictures too.
So you've
I
seen them on
can't
stage?
think of another example of someone else's kids who we can see their backs all the time, but we've never once seen their face.
So
Of
I
like a
do know
celebrity.
I know someone for example here I won't say their name personally, but here in Houston who's an Astros player, and he and his wife had chosen to, for their two daughters, to keep their faces turned. They post a ton of pictures of them, document everything in their lives, but every single time, their faces are turned. So you see their little pigtails and all that. You just never see
Okay.
the kids' faces. That's the only example that I personally know of or can think about. But the kids go to the baseball games. I mean, they're out in public all the time. So if you see them out, you're going to see them, but
Yeah.
they just don't put it on social media.
TMZ isn't trying to get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we feel like we concluded that topic?
Sure.
Yeah, I let's see. I can scroll back through the chat. I'd start a couple of things and then I got a little sidetracked, but
Was Blake in the chat?
Yeah, he doesn't need to be.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Let's go into this
We don't need any
mode.
more feds in here anyway.
We don't need any more drama in here is what we don't need. All right.
Jordan, I try to joke with you, and it's real hard to joke with you, man.
it's okay. I bring enough laughs, and Jordan keeps it serious. So that's why we're, a good yin and yang.
I know he smiles. It's just hard to get it out of him.
All right. So I wanted to make a statement real fast that I did prepare. So this is just a statement, just sort of compiling all the evidence that Charlie Kirk is still alive. We have, when we look at Charlie Kirk, we have no burial. Charlie Kirk is still on the board website 7 months later. We have all this drama about maybe there's no autopsy, maybe there is, maybe there's not. Everyone thinks there isn't one, and then there is. We don't know. There's video of his hands moving after the supposed decorticate posturing. We have like 3 or 4 different examples where it looks like his fingers are moving, his wrist flips up, and it's like not because someone else is moving it. We have his arm moving up, but it looks like his fingers are active, and he's not trying to maintain position. Supposedly in decorticate posturing, which is supposed to maintain, but his flesh is still normal skin tone, so it's not like his heart stopped. So it should still maintain this position, but it's not. We have fingers moving. We have all the stuff moving. We also have no one is grieving as expected, except for the parents who are markedly grieving, but no one else is grieving like a normal human. We have people ducking right before the shot. The audio guy does this or whatever, like immediately before the shot. We have a hand signal, whoop, 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 boom, immediately before the shot. We have all this coordination immediately before the shot, immediately after the shot. We have people walking away calmly after the shot. Mikey McCoy, phone to his ear. Apparently it's because he was plugging his ear, but it doesn't look like it. He just walks away casually immediately. We have Terrell Farnsworth declaring him dead immediately, even though Terrell Farnsworth left before Charlie even hit the ground. But no, he's declaring him dead in a video only seconds afterward. Not a doctor. Terrell Farnsworth is declaring him dead, matter of factly, with no information to support that. Because people do survive those gunshot wounds every day. We have fake hands in a casket. We have those fake hands in the casket. And so
why do you
attention?
So real quick, why do you think his hands were
hold
fake?
on, I'm almost done.
Okay.
None of this stuff feels real.
Okay.
What do you say to that, James?
So why do you say his hands were fake?
Because they look like that.
What do you mean they look
small.
like that? They're too small?
Yeah, they're too small. They're the same size as Erica's. Kelly, how tall are you? Can I ask you that?
I'm 5'8".
So that's about how tall Erica is, right?
Probably about how tall Erica is. Yeah. And this is specifically a man's hand. So I thought I had 2 of these hands here today. It looks like maybe the other one's here tomorrow. And then I think I ordered another one for this weekend.
So
you guys.
Well, height doesn't mean a whole lot.
You could have like makeup on them too. I just want to remind people, don't just take this as the only color of hands that there is.
Well, I didn't know if you meant the color of the hand.
If Kelly and I were in the same room, and if I were to put my giant, humongous hand on top of hers, it's going to be like twice the size. Like, I mean, I have a different camera angle, but like my hand is going to be like twice the size of Kelly's because male versus female, and I'm 6'2", almost Charlie's height. But when we look at the hands in the casket, Charlie's 6'4", and Erica's about 5'8" or something, and yet the hands are the same size.
All right.
So what the heck,
so,
man?
I can speak to that
Kinda
a little
sus,
bit.
Right?
No, I can speak to that a little bit. I can tell you a couple of stories. So I have a cousin. It's too much information, but I do have a cousin. He's 6'4". Is he good? What happened?
Hopefully he's okay.
Sorry, I pulled a muscle weird. I thought that was going to be super painful, but it wasn't. I'm good. Sorry, go ahead.
You good? All right. I have a cousin who's 6'4". I've got bigger hands than he does. I knew a guy.
But we have photos of him. We have photos of them.
Well, I'm getting to
with
it.
their hands together, and his hands are huge, and hers aren't.
Well, I'm getting to that. And okay, so I knew this girl. She was a barrel racer. Man, I'm telling you guys too much information about me. But she was a barrel racer, and she actually had bigger hands than me. I was surprised. Like she put her hands up to me and like I was like, geez. I was like, and she was shorter than me. She was 5 foot, maybe 6 or this is too much information. She's about 5'6" or so, and she had bigger hands than me. Uh like I just couldn't believe it. I've also seen the fact
But
that
she's
the
not
guy
Erica.
well, I don't know how big Erica's hands are. I
Well, we
We
mean,
have
you
do
the
have
though.
photo here. I'm gonna get the photo. I'm
Let's
gonna
pull
get
up
the
the
photo.
photo.
Don't worry. Yeah,
okay.
We
I'm on
have the
it. But keep
photo.
keep telling us the story, please. We're
Well, I'm just saying, like,
envisioning.
this I'm just saying that hand size is a good indicator of, sex or something like that. So if you ever, are dating a girl and you get some kind of, suspicious feelings about whether she might be really a girl, look at her hands, but that's not a hard and fast rule. It it's a
Whether
it's
she
something you
might
can base it
really
off
be
of,
a
but it's
girl.
not a
Like transgender, I guess, is what you
you know
mean?
what I meant. Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what this boils down to again? See, look, it's about the Fed slop trying to create
No, I'm
a
just saying
trans narrative.
it's not a hard fast rule, but there's some truth to it, but it's not a hard fast rule is all there is to it. So
But we're gonna pull up the photo.
all right, pull up
Yes.
the photo. And
Okay.
then while she's pulling the photo up, tell me what you meant by his hands moving or not moving. What was that, when he was shot or after he was shot? When was that?
Give me a second. I'll pull it up after
I've
Kelly.
got, yeah. I've got the hands pick.
While you're doing that, do you mind if I stall? I can just tell some more crazy stories about people I've known in my life.
Go ahead. Fill the dead air.
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So that girl that was the barrel racer, she had a club foot. I'm not even joking. She had a club foot. So, that was another interesting thing about her. I don't know
A
if
what?
that's a club foot.
Like a birth
What does
defect?
that like?
Yeah,
What
she
does
had
that
like a
in? Yeah. What does that
I'm just
entail?
it's just her foot was all messed up is all.
Okay. Did Erica have a
I'm
birth
just filling
defect?
up the space. I'm just filling up the dirt, I'm just filling up the the
Okay,
dead air.
he's trying
I'm just
to.
rambling.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Don't worry, I'm
All
here
right,
to save the day.
save it.
All right.
All right.
Should I have zoomed in more? Sorry.
Yeah, here we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, he's got massive hands.
Uh-huh. Does Erica have massive hands?
Um, I don't know. Like his hands look like they're larger than the average man, and
Uh-huh.
she might have large hands for a woman. I don't know. They're not massive.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, you're probably right. She probably has normal hands.
Can we pull up the casket
I-
photo?
Get the
Okay.
casket photo.
Hold on. Yep. Stand by. And I have another one just in case anybody, feels sus about that picture. I'll even bring up this is a less commonly looked at one, but I think a solid example nonetheless.
All right, pull it on up. I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
While you're doing that,
You got more throwback Thursday treasures for us?
nothing that's going to beat the clubfoot girl that was a barrel racer. I don't know if there's ever going to be anything that beats that. Okay. He's got a handmaid
What
from
are
the
the
Handmaid's Tale.
chances, you guys? Wait, is she doing the sign? Oh,
I think that's her thumb, isn't it?
is she
That's her
doing the
thumb.
sign?
What's the sign? Show me the sign.
I didn't even.
What's the sign?
Right?
I'm out of the loop. What's the sign?
I think.
Yes,
Um,
I think she is.
What's the
Anyway, we'll
sign?
have to look into that a little. I can't tell. Anyway, like that's
I don't think
wow.
so. Her right hand?
Yeah, I guess that's her right hand.
I
What
don't
is the
think
sign?
so.
I need to
Okay.
know what the
All
sign
right.
is.
I couldn't tell if there were two fingers in there or one, but okay. Anyway, I was like,
I don't think
whoa,
so.
if she's doing the sign, like even in this engagement photo and then again at his memorial, y'all, like, that's crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay. Sorry.
Okay,
False alarm. False alarm. Okay.
Let's
Casca.
find the why will this
I'm
not
on
let
it.
me zoom?
It doesn't like you today.
Yeah. Somebody's like, glasses, Kelly. Yes. Sorry, guys. I know I need to adjust my lights in here so they don't have such a glare.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble now.
That's right. I'm getting serious.
I don't know.
Yeah, it reflects off your glasses sometimes.
Yep. Yep.
Have you ever seen the comedian make fun of 50 Cent who becomes a computer tech? And he said all 50 Cent did was put on some glasses and he was saying, I'm a computer tech. So, they help. I'm not getting anything out of you guys.
Sorry, Kelly's looking for a
focused.
photo and I'm just looking through a video. I did not hear that one bit. My apologies.
Nah, you guys are good. I'm just rambling.
The chat hears you though.
Okay.
They do? All right.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it. I got it. Now let me add this in.
So, all right. What are we looking at now?
No, it's
Just wait. Don't worry.
It's
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Erica's.
I'm gonna. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. I've got them loading it in. This was a screen recording of the whole thing because
it's
you
the
never know when they're
creepy
gonna.
whispering narrative.
Here we go.
I love you.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, we'll play.
Like,
We'll play.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see the problem, James? Please
Well, I
tell
was
me
gonna
that you
say
see the
this.
problem.
I was going to say this earlier. Part of it, it could be a couple of things. Your body dehydrates or the water, whatever, out of your body when you die. It also could be they probably really did use prosthetic hands and put those there.
Why?
I don't know. A lot of times,
You're just playing around now. Come on,
no,
don't troll.
no, I'm not trolling. I'm saying whenever they have, or I've looked into anybody using prosthetics like that, there's been a major accident or something. But I don't know.
Was there a major accident that happened to Charlie Kirk's hands?
No, I'm just saying. I said
Okay, so that was
yeah.
We had number one and we had number two. So dehydration.
Yeah.
I don't think that does anything to bones though. And then we have the funeral people used prosthetic hands. What do we have any other ideas?
It could be that that's just what it is. I mean,
Couldn't you
that's his
think? Can you
hands.
think of a reason why the funeral home might use prosthetic hands?
Oh, I've already said if there's a major accident,
But there
they'll
wasn't
use
one.
prosthetics. Yeah, I know. I just threw that out there.
Can you think of any other reason why the hands might be a completely different size?
Dehydration, or the
Does that
water.
shrink bones?
Does it shrink bones? No, it doesn't
Yeah.
shrink bones.
Okay. So it's not dehydration, right?
What do you mean?
So it's not dehydration.
I don't know that.
I have an idea. I'm going to put it to you straight.
Okay.
Maybe the reason the hands are smaller than Erica's is because it's not Charlie Kirk's hands.
You know what? If you want to say that that's not actually Charlie Kirk's body, and they wanted to, just kind of stage that, I could go with that. Sure.
I think we have a believer now.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I think that's a
So
great note to end on.
it's a start. It is at least a start. It is a crack in the facade. I think we have made some
All right.
progress.
We made
So,
progress.
all right. So I
Closing
do
words,
want to say,
James.
yeah, I just looked it up. So post-mortem dehydration, 60% of your body weight drains. So, that would be my explanation for that.
But not the bones. And no mortician is
Uh,
going to tell you that that is going to just be from dehydration. They don't shrink that much. Any
I said
closing thoughts,
60%.
James?
I do not feel like conducting an investigation where you start with your premise and work backwards is the way to go.
Kelly, did you start with the premise?
I started with what I saw and what didn't make sense to me. And I began researching. I had questions right away. And I always have to give my son credit because my, at the time, 9-year-old, when he saw the video, he said, "Mom, he's wearing a squib." I didn't even know what a squib was.
And me, same way. I didn't get to fake death theory nearly as soon as they did, but I got there because number one, we had some physicist come on and say that the math conclusively puts it into the van, the bullet, not into Charlie Kirk. And then I saw Kelly seemed pretty reasonable, found out she was on fake death theories. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I realized once I take some courses online about squibs that it actually explains a lot of stuff that nothing else explains. And then I figured out I could demonstrate it. And what do you know? Now I'm a squibber. So I did
Yeah.
not start
Oh,
out with the premise. I started off with the evidence. So did Kelly. So I reject your statement.
okay. Well,
All
when I
right.
say you've got to start with all of the evidence, and you don't have all the evidence just yet. Now, if you have all the evidence from the autopsy, you have all the evidence from uh, the family members and all this other stuff. I mean, I think that's when you can actually evaluate what happened. But just using the video and I think you would agree with this, your limited knowledge on all these topics, much more advanced than mine. I mean, I think you're bound to jump to, or not jump to, but go down conclusions that aren't accurate.
James, I got to stop you right there and say that sounds to me like when I first tried getting into this investigation, and when I first did get into the investigation, and the gun bros, the military bros told me that I didn't have anything to contribute to this case because I wasn't a veteran and I wasn't out shooting on the range every weekend.
I'm not
No.
saying that. I'm saying
I
you've
know
got to
you're
have
not
all the
saying that,
evidence.
but you're saying that he doesn't have this, whatever kind of expertise or experience. Well, he's doing everything that he can to research, like day in and day out, on developing. He's doing work. He's, literally building things.
Mhm.
I'm researching these people to the nth degree, and in addition to that, have 12 plus years of investigative journalism experience. So, it's not like we're just people off the street who've read a couple of true crime novels or have watched a couple of Netflix series.
We have demonstration.
And I have the
Okay.
federal government.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They're going to have to call in for some reinforcements or start doing some magic tricks, pulling some white rabbits out of the hats because it's now looking too hot.
Uh, the thing that's, like I said, when all the evidence comes out, when all the evidence is available for everyone to kind of look at, I mean, that's when you can really look back and figure out what really happened. And until we get all that, that's kind of where I'm at.
Got you.
All right. Well, we
Thank you.
always appreciate you coming on, James. We appreciate your perspective. We appreciate your feedback. We are going to get off to the next segment here. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you,
No
James.
problem. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And here we go. All right. We are moving on to the next segment where we are going to sort of try to launch the new channel in such a way that we're going to go over exclusively to that new channel, Try and Prove It channel. If you are joining us on X, go to the handle at Try and Prove It, switch to that live stream. I will
I'll
post
write it
that
in the
into
chat right now. Yeah.
Yes. In the YouTube chat, and I will go over to X to make sure that everybody knows where we're going. It's also in the YouTube description. And let me go here. And I'm going to post a comment to my X live stream. Go over to Try and Prove It to catch the rest of the stream, please. And I'm going to copy that, and I will comment that on Kelly's as well. Is that me? I don't think
Sorry,
that's
that
me.
was me. My I was just came through because my son texted me 3 times. He's
Do you
trying
need to?
It's okay. It's okay. He just
Are you sure?
yeah. He just broke his arm, you guys, and so he must be using his other arm. So anyway, as we're transitioning
Do we
over
want
to
to
the other
recess
stream-
for 3 minutes and wait for everyone to go over there?
Yeah. If you don't mind, just so I can go make sure
Yeah.
that he's good.
Family comes first. We will go into a recess here for 3 minutes. We'll come back, and it will just be the Try and Prove It channel on YouTube and on X. Okay.
Try and prove it. Thanks, you guys.
All right, and we're going to go into me, and Kelly is now muted. I guess I'm full screen now. I will hold down the fork for a few minutes and find Kelly's and post it there for the people on X on Kelly's channel. What we're going to talk about for the rest of the night is what the future of the Try and Prove It channel will be. It's going to be super exciting. Okay. And now I can get off that, I believe, and I can close out on those and have an open tab. And now I'm going to start removing the personal accounts, my personal account. So please go to the channel in the description on YouTube or in the comment under the X live stream to catch the rest of the stream. I will now remove my X. Remove. Don't delete, just remove, please. My X stream is now down. And now I will remove Kelly's. Remove, do not delete. And now I will remove my YouTube. So if you were watching on my YouTube channel, go down to the link in the description and catch the rest of the stream there, please, because this stream will now end. But we are continuing the live stream. Remove. Boop. And now Kelly's is the last one. So if you are now joining on Kelly's live stream on YouTube, please go into the link in the description or in the chat somewhere, I think, and catch us over there on that live stream to catch the rest of the stream. We're not even, we're definitely not done yet, okay? Now I'm removing that one. Okay. So now everyone remaining is going to be in the Try and Prove It channel. If you're still with us, thank you for sticking around. And I will get some stuff ready for the next segment here while we wait for Kelly to come back from mom duty. So that link was in the description And we still have some chats. Perfect. Did you want me to mod here? Oh, I should probably make Tammy a moderator on that channel too. And maybe Kelly will make her moderator there as well. Did I say Kelly? I meant Tammy. Moderator, because she is a moderator on my channel. So I will go over there under the Try and Prove It channel and make her a mod. View your channel. Here we go. Pause. And add as moderator. Standard. Save. Tammy is now a moderator. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate your work. You should be mod here now, and it'll maybe update. And we're still waiting for Kelly to come back. So what we're going to do here, let me actually change the graphic. We're going to get to know the hosts. So when you start sort of getting into one of these investigations, one of these like open source internet investigations, you don't really know who you're listening to, who you're watching, because all of the information you have about the person is just focused on the case. Everything you know about the person is filtered through one true crime case. You don't really know what their perspective is on this case, on that case, unless they discuss it. Now, a lot of the people who discuss this case are political commentators. I do not identify as a political commentator. I can't speak for Kelly. I sometimes comment on political things on X, but I don't consider myself one. But anyway, we are going to go back into the two-shot because Kelly is back and unmuted, I think.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jordan.
And so what I was saying was to the chat, Kelly, was it's kind of hard to actually know who you're listening to, watching in a lot of these open source internet investigations, because everything you know about the person is filtered through a very focused lens, just through one true crime case. So what I thought we would do at sort of the beginning of this channel operating entirely on its own is sort of get to know each other for ourselves, I guess, and for the audience. So I think that's important when we start sort of not really a new chapter, but a new channel, at least.
Yeah.
So we want to sort of expand the scope, expand the context awareness. So what I did to get us started was I had AI write some questions because I did not have time to write them myself. And it's better if someone else or an AI writes the questions. And do you have those in front of you, Kelly?
I do.
Perfect.
I haven't read them yet, but I am now.
I haven't read them either because it's all AI. It'll be great. All right. So Kelly, what was the first true crime case or conspiracy theory that completely hooked you, and why that one?
Oh, are you guys ready for this? Okay. I was in 5th grade. I started young.
Yeah.
And it hit very close to home for me. It was the railroad killer. We knew him ultimately as Rafael Resendez Ramirez. His name, he had a very long name and a whole bunch of pseudonyms. Angel, he went by a bunch of different names. But he traveled the country on the railroad and killed a lot of people, including my preacher and my preacher's wife. And they were murdered on a Friday night and overnight, and then discovered Sunday after church, or well, I guess during church when they didn't show up. And then he came back. Resendez Ramirez came back a couple of weeks later and killed my friend's grandmother. And I grew up in a very, very, very small town. And so like we didn't even lock our...
when this happened?
I was in about 5th grade.
Okay.
5th, 6th grade. Yeah.
Is that why you wanted to be an investigative reporter?
Ultimately, yes.
So you knew
I
what you
didn't
wanted
know.
to do.
Yeah, so we just got the internet in my small little town, and I would stay up all night long researching. Like, I thought that I was going to crack the case. I would print out stuff, stacked high. I was doing all my own digging at a very young age. And yeah, I mean, he really terrorized our small community. And I mean, to the extent that we like coming home from school, and forgive me if I'm like rambling on a little bit too long, but I mean, it really, like, it changed my life. Um,
Because of the fear?
yeah, yeah. And the awareness. When we would come home from school, my mom would go in. That's how I learned how to drive. I would have to sit in the front seat of the car, or in the driver's seat of the car, and mom would go in and she would clear the house. And she would say, like, if I'm not out within 5 minutes, then I want you to drive away.
So hold on.
Um,
Let me get this straight. You would get
mhm,
back home, your mom would go
mhm.
inside, or you would have to get into the driver's seat when you got home.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
at
Well,
fifth grade,
yeah. While my mom
she
would
would go in,
go
clear the
and,
house, meaning like
mhm,
SWAT style, clear the house,
right.
because there
Yeah.
was a
To make
serial killer
sure,
on the loose.
because there was a serial killer on the loose.
What was the frequency of the hits?
Well, he'd hit twice in our small town, but he had hit like many times across the country in a relatively short period of time. He hit multiple times in the Houston area, but he hit in like Indiana, Ohio. He'd been in Florida, all over. He'd been deported a couple of times. ICE like wasn't doing a very good job picking up. Like, there were a couple of times where they literally had him in their hands, and the systems weren't talking, as law enforcement usually says, right? Systems weren't talking.
Hmm.
And even like the sheriff's, like the city police, or the sheriff's department, they'd had a county-wide meeting. And my parents would tell you about this to this day, right? I wasn't there, but my parents were there. And they said, everybody's been put on notice. It's shoot to kill. All of the gun stores sold out. I mean, the town that I grew up in was 2,500 people. So we're talking very, very small.
Like one stoplight.
Yeah. We had bells on the windows. Every night we would put a chair under the doors. Like, it was a whole lockdown.
How long did that last for?
I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, it's a couple of months, but it felt like forever,
Yeah, especially to a kid.
Yeah. It was just life-changing. And so I think, I mean, that absolutely is where I got not ultimately a fear, but a vigilance and an interest in going like all in on digging and getting to the bottom of things, and yeah, holding people accountable.
It really sucks.
I mean, does it suck though? Because ultimately, I've been able to do some incredible work in my life and make a difference. And so things happen, and it's about how you deal with it, right? So,
When bad things happen to good people do better things.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I like that one. I
Okay.
like that one.
Um,
Well, okay.
why
Then
don't
you go. You go.
why don't you ask me the
Tell me
next
about
one? I haven't even read it.
well, can I ask you that same one, or
I think
do you want
I've
to?
already talked about it. It's the Chris Watts
Oh, okay.
conspiracy theory. I mean, the
Were you
first one
talking
that
about it?
I don't have like the super dramatic, like, make a film out of it. It was just the Chris Watts familicide case was the
Have you
first one I
talked about
spent.
it on this channel, or were you speaking about it while I was away?
No, just in general, the
Okay,
Chris
we'll
Watts
talk about it
familicide
now
case.
because we've got a new audience here. So
Yeah.
lay it on us.
Okay, so Chris Watts, he was accused of killing his entire family. He was the guy who went on the news to say that my wife and children are gone. We don't know what happened to them. Come to find out that he put them in oil tanks at an oil field at his job. And make a long story short, there's an interrogation video, like 4 or 6 hours worth, where he confesses to part of it and then later apparently confesses to everything. Basically, they think that he killed his entire family, but the reason it's so famous is number one, the mom, Shanann Watts, was super like internet savvy, I guess. She wasn't famous, but she had all kinds of friends online on Facebook because of some multi-level marketing stuff. But the reason it was so not popular, but super high profile is the word I'm looking for, is because the guy had no red flags in his behavior whatsoever. It seemed like he just snapped and killed everyone in his entire family for no reason at all whatsoever. Complete total mystery, psychologically speaking. He just snapped and just killed everyone for no freaking reason at all. That's why people were so drawn to it, is because they couldn't understand why he would do that. And when you can't explain that, you wonder, okay, well, there's this person in my life who kind of looks like Chris. Is he going to snap and kill me? So that's why that case got a lot of attention, I think, because people couldn't explain it. And when you can't explain something like that, it gets kind of scary because it sort of destabilizes your understanding of human nature and human psychology. When I looked into that case, I spent 2 years looking into it. The first year, I didn't know what the heck happened. Then I figured out what happened, spent another year researching it, and sort of at the end of that year, I started making a lot of YouTube videos on it. My conclusion was basically the story that he told at the end of the like 6 hour interrogation was exactly what happened. In that story, he said that the wife was the one who snapped, who actually killed the kids due to marital issues, primarily financial issues as well. She snapped, she killed the kids in revenge because the husband was cheating on her, Chris was, and there was just all kinds of stuff going on. She was emotionally unstable. And in my opinion, what he said in the interrogation was exactly what happened. She snapped, and then he snapped when he found her killing the kids. He, did her, and he was left with all of them dead in his house. He didn't kill all of them. He just sort of reciprocated, and then everything else was just him trying to hide it. And he was an idiot. He had no idea how to hide it. He had no idea how to get out of it. Had no idea how to explain it. So all of the stuff he did in the media was just an idiot not knowing what to do, put in an impossible situation. Could he have just called 911? Yeah, he probably should have, but he didn't because it's human nature not to. But basically, I don't want to get too deep into it, but that's the first case that I spent like years of time working on. And because it took me an entire year to figure out what happened, when I looked at the Charlie Kirk case, it was close enough to home for me that I decided it's probably going to take me another year to research this case to get to the point where I have something useful to say. So I made a post on my YouTube saying, I'm looking at this case extremely closely, but I don't expect to have an answer for you for another year. Turns out I came up with, there was so much stuff going on in this case. And there were a couple times when I saw a theory or two that were so preposterous that I decided to make a couple videos debunking them. And then when I started I was talking to Trigger Smart for a while, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but I sort of got roped into making content on Charlie Kirk a little bit sooner than I wanted to. But I think I make useful content, particularly because I'm the only one promoting the pendant gun. And that appears to be the only one that is actually demonstrating what we see. So that's my answer to that one.
I would say you are absolutely making useful content. So don't sell yourself
Thank you.
short there. Did you, if I can venture off of the script for a little bit, or the AI questions rather, did you experience at all during that investigation some of the sort of psyop kind of clicky online type? I don't even know how to describe it because I've never experienced anything like this before, in the like X world and all of this stuff. But did you experience anything like that as you were investigating the Watts case?
It happened in 2018, and my investigation started in like 2022. Or no, it started in like I guess it started in 2021 and it went to about 2023-ish. I would have to look at the YouTube, but it started like 3 years after the case happened. So there was a lot of separation, but it was so well known that there was still the potential to get like 100,000 views on a video. My best video did, I think, almost 200,000. So there's definitely an audience for sure. There's a lot of content coming out, but it wasn't like there was a Candace Owens pushing stuff out. There was no Baron Coleman. There was no TPUSA putting stuff out. There wasn't an ongoing court case. So a lot of the draw sources were not there for like the psyopy stuff. So I would say no, at least not in my opinion. But that's probably just because it was so far away from the case
Got it.
in time. Okay, Kelly, do you naturally lean more towards skepticism or belief when you hear a wild theory? Let me try to rephrase that. That's kind of wonky. So when you hear a crazy conspiracy theory, is your first thought that the conspiracy theory might be true, or it's probably not true?
My first thought, oh gosh, if I had to pick, it's probably that the conspiracy theory is not true. And then I work my way backwards or forwards, I guess, whatever, however you want to look at it, glass half empty, glass half full. That doesn't mean that I'm some eternal optimist and think that everything is peachy. It's just that I think people have a tendency to throw out a lot of crazy things and disinformation these days.
So when you first heard
Yeah.
about, like, I asked you, sorry to interrupt, but just as
Sure.
an example, when I mentioned to you that people didn't think Artemis was real, you're like, what? So,
Yeah,
like, you don't,
I wasn't aware of that. I mean, for whatever reason, it just hadn't crossed my algorithm. Now I know that people have skepticism about the moon, and all that. And I'd seen the movie. I can't remember what that movie was called. But it just wasn't my bag. Like, I've had a lot of other things that I've spent my time on digging into. So, there's only like so much, like, I don't spend my entire life walking around being a conspiracy theorist, although some people in my life might beg to differ.
do you think a reporter has to be a conspiracy theorist?
I don't think I think conspiracy theorist has a bad name. It gets a bad rap. I think you should just be, even skeptical has a bad, nuance or perception to it. I just think you should be a critical thinker.
Yeah. My response would be, I have some pretty unique takes on a lot of these things. We're going to get to some of those later. But my response would be, I lean towards skepticism because I think people believe a lot of wacky things for bad reasons. And that's how we get a lot of bad conspiracy theories. But I think there's a lot of good ones as well. but there's so much of the wacky stuff out there that people believe for bad reasons that the default assumption should be that it's wrong because there's so much stuff out there. So that would be my response.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
easy when there's so many bad or crazy ones out there, too many out here that then you forget about the ones that are in here.
I'll answer the next one first to sort of switch it up so you're not always on the hot seat. If I had to solve one unsolved case, which one would it be? I would say the pyramids, because that's like the greatest mystery ever, is what were the pyramids for? But we're going to get into that later. Kelly?
This one's may surprise you guys. I would say the July 4th floods in Texas, because I think there are a lot of unsolved aspects of that have not been dealt with yet.
Tell me more. Do you want to?
I wish I had all of the answers. Unfortunately, fortunately, and unfortunately, and this is like a constant guilt trip that I have within myself. I'm getting very vulnerable over here, but that, I was working very hard on the July 4th flood investigation up until the time of 9/10, because my kids were involved in the floods on July 4th here in Texas, in the Hill Country, and they were at camp. And my youngest son, was very, very close to being gone. And yeah, it's something that could have been prevented to an extent. No doubt there was a ton of rain that came, but there were precautions that could have and should have been taken at all levels of government and at like the summer camps themselves. And they did nothing, and left these poor little kids, in the case of, of the camps, left these poor little kids there to die, fend for themselves. And there were, in addition to the camps, there were 119 others who died as well. And it's beyond tragic.
What's the biggest question there you want answered?
I really want to look into the environmental aspects of it. What not just the cloud seeding, but let's say there are some overhead and under the ground aspects of that I want to dig into, but there are also political responsibilities and cover-ups that I fully believe happened then at the time and are happening now. I mean, we're talking like the three most important people at the time in Kerr County. So we're Kerrville and Hunt, these, small little towns in the Hill Country in Texas. I mean, this was like their Super Bowl, essentially. July 4th weekend, 3-day weekend. And this massive storm suddenly comes in, right? The National Weather Service had issued alerts. These people didn't show up on the phone calls in advance. Why? But then the night of, the emergency, the local emergency, I can't think of the official title, emergency director, whatever.
System?
Yes, the emergency director of the county, emergency management director, he was nowhere to be found. The sheriff was nowhere to be found. The the city manager was nowhere to be found. These three, they were all just either out of town or not answering their phones, asleep or sick or whatever. It was crazy. So I keep saying I'm going to do, a full real, because my YouTube, I'm newer here on YouTube. My Instagram family knows a little more about this stuff, but my YouTube family hasn't heard me go off on all this, and I have a lot to say. it's a tragedy. And now it's like up to the point where, you know, the governor, the lieutenant governor, all these different politicians have really, I would say, contributed to the cover up. and then also FEMA was nowhere to be found. Kristi Noem was like nowhere to be found for the longest time. And then finally, I guess, came in on her jet, and they called her, you know, I don't know, Rescue Barbie or something like that. But
She didn't
there
rescue
wasn't,
anybody, did she?
she didn't rescue any. I don't think they called her Rescue Barbie, but something, you know, something
That's what
cheesy
it felt
like that.
like.
Like they didn't even bring, you know, FEMA trailers down there. It was just, there were so many issues, so many issues.
All
So,
of the people in
welcome
leadership
aboard.
probably got into leadership positions for bad reasons.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't know how you could. I mean, I have pictures like of the camp where my kids were at. The director of the camp standing as my son who just graduated kindergarten is up perched on the rafters of a wooden cabin that is literally falling apart, doors coming off, windows had burst, the water's rushing so hard and so fast, and he's all the way up, you know, pitch black. This is the middle of the night, by the way, you guys. It's like 4:00 in the morning. The cabin is falling apart, all these little boys in there screaming, and the director of the camp is standing over there on the side. I mean, it's just, thank God no one at the boys' camp died. At the girls' camp, sadly, you know, they lost several girls. So it's very, you know, heavens
Then
27. They lost 27 girls.
Like, you can say you just need better people up until a point, but the more effective question to ask is, how do we create systems that produce better leaders, that produce better people? Instead of just blaming it on people, how do we produce a system that is inherently safe regardless of who's in charge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's try to get
I mean,
to some happier topics.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, we should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, the good thing
'Cause
is
that's
that the
important to
audience
you.
can see how passionate. Yeah, yeah. And at the end of the day, like, this is about being authentic and passionate, and you guys can see that this isn't just for like wanting to stream on YouTube just for kicks. Like, you know, we have things that we really care about, making a difference in this world, issues that are a lot bigger than us and that will outlive us.
You got
And
into
that's what it's all
journalism
about.
because I was listening to some TED Talks and stuff on like PR training and stuff. And I think there's a lot of people who get into certain fields to get into those fields and to just be a journalist, to be a producer or whatever, just to do the job. And then there's other people who go into these jobs to actually make a difference, to actually do things, to achieve things. And I think you're the latter.
Yeah, thank you. I always said that my number one goal was to make a difference that would long outlive me. And
that's not
you know,
just a tagline that a lot of people say. You did that and you're still doing it for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with the floods, the boys and I, we went to Austin and we testified. I testified twice. You know, I testified at the end of July, and then we testified together. My sons and I testified in August. I was so proud of them for going to the state capitol and testifying before the legislature. And yeah, contributed to.
They shouldn't have to do that, though.
I agree. I agree. But I told them, I said, you know what? Like, something terrible happened, but this can be your way of trying to make a difference for
maybe they'll be
kids
journalists
for a long
too.
time in the future. Yeah.
Maybe they'll get some awards too.
Never know.
Okay. What's your biggest gut instinct moment when you, okay, so this is about intuition. Do you consider yourself intuitive?
Very intuitive, very
Yeah.
intuitive. I'm a Pisces, and so I'm like the creative, intuitive, emotional feeler. What about you? Are you intuitive?
I think so. I My first YouTube channel was about MBTI. It's a personality typing system.
Okay,
Carl Jung. I got balls deep into that.
nice.
Yeah, I would consider myself intuitive, I think. Um, but
How does your, sorry, go
really
ahead.
more with my daily work though, because that's what I spend a lot of time doing is with fixing things. Intuition there, not as much with people because most of my daily work is not with people, but fixing things, fixing systems, listening to systems, listening to things that I observe. That's where I think my intuition comes in. Um, yeah, that's what I would say to that. But what was your biggest moment?
Oh, well, I was going to ask if you, how your intuition manifests itself, right? And so, as you said, kind of physically through the work that you do, especially, with your hands, and as you're problem solving things, it sounds like.
It's sort of kind of like you walk into a room with a machine in it, with like an HVAC system, or it's a house, and you just let it speak to you. You don't think, you just observe, you look at this, you look at that, and you kind of just you don't think and it just comes to you, I think. You just take it in and then just let your subconscious just kind of let it melt in without thinking about it. And you just sit there and you figure out what the right question to ask is. You figure out what the
Mhm.
right test to do is just by listening. It's not about saying things, it's not about doing things, it's not about um, trying to figure things out directly. It's about just listening more than anything, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, I'll have to really think about what my biggest gut instinct moment would be. Um, that's a wonderful question, but I want to do it justice and really think on that versus just coming up with something off the top. But I definitely consider myself intuitive. I can't tell you how many times every single day I think of someone and they call, they text, the email pops up on my screen within a moment or two. When
Mhm.
people joke about saying that, someday we're going to have a computer chip like planted in our brains or something like that, like I'll be like, man, is it already in my brain?
So
But yeah.
there was a time when I was a kid where I was getting super deep into telepathy and I went out into it like I would try to send messages to people. It sounds really weird. I would just sit down in a dark room and I would just think and I would try to send messages to people. Sounds really stupid. But one time I went out into a field. It just feels like you should be able to. I don't know why. Do you feel that way?
Mhm. Yeah,
It
yeah.
feels like you should just be able to sit there and think about a person and just think about a message and it should somehow get to that person.
And
And
like manifest that. Yeah.
yeah, and I went out into a field because I grew up in a park. It's the park that I was at the other day, and we do the field tests at. That was basically my backyard for growing up. I go out into a field at the top of a field, and I stand there, and I'm trying to send like a mental message to someone. And for the first time ever, at like intensity level 100, I get this message in my head. It's what it feels like. I can't reproduce it. I
Mhm.
can't really describe it. It just felt like exactly what they say in the movies where it's like there is a message that is implanted into your head that sounds just as real as someone talking to you. But I heard a message. It was, um, how can I help you? I think, or like, what can I do for you, or something like that. That was the
Yeah.
message I received in my head, and I don't know who it was or what it was, but
Maybe.
it was like like for one moment I had sort of tuned into some kind of frequency or something, and it actually did something. And we can
Wow.
go super deep into all of the like alien stuff, talking about it, and all these different stories about. They've even done science demonstrating that it can do things, and there's all these stories about aliens, and they all have one thing in common: telepathy. So I can't explain it with science. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works. It just feels like it should work, you know? And my field experience could have been nothing, but it was just kind of weird. And it just intuitively feels like it should be real.
Yeah. I forget right now that we don't have the chat running on the screen. So I'm going to read out, if it's okay, a couple of the chat messages because they are super engaged with the conversation that we're having. She called me trash, said, I've sent you messages with my mind, Jordan. You've received them.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know if he'd like to elaborate or not, but
Was it like you sent me a message, person in the chat, and then I just tweeted that thing the next moment?
it
Maybe
would be
that's what happened.
interesting. It would be
Um,
interesting. Thank you,
let me get the
C3
chat.
Holland. I can't explain how much I'm enjoying listening to this convo in my earbuds while I'm working on something across the room.
I think
You
you were
know
saying
what?
we should put the chat on the screen. There we go.
Yeah, as long as it's not distracting. It's just everybody's really, they're into it.
Okay. Did you want to go through more?
Oh yeah. So C3, I'm glad that you're enjoying listening. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to having more of these conversations. We're from Amanda. Were you two in the GATE program? Jordan, were you?
I don't know what that is. I'm Googling it, so probably no.
Gifted and well, so Candace has talked about it a little bit. Gifted and
Oh, the thing
talented.
that she said Charlie was in.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. I'm not that smart. I'm not. No. No.
You weren't?
No.
Are you sure? Don't be
I'm
modest.
sure.
Okay. I was. I was I'll let you can take a minute and you can think about it, Jordan. You might have been. But I remember I was in Gifted and Talented. That's what we called it. Gifted
Oh,
and Talented versus Gate. But what's so crazy, I've only done a
wait.
little bit.
What do you mean?
So it's this program in I mean, it starts in elementary school.
Are you talking
I
about
want
just
to say,
a random like school level thing, or are you talking about the CIA?
oh, not CIA.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
like a
that's what
school
GATE
level
is.
thing.
You're just talking
No,
about. Oh,
this is different. This is different.
okay.
I mean, we should do a whole other program. In fact, it's one of the things I've been wanting to do is ask some of my former classmates who were in Gifted and Talented with me, because being in from such a small school, like there were 57 people in my graduating class, and I graduated early. Fun fact: I was the first kid to graduate early from Schulenburg, the small little town where I grew up. So,
Congrats.
oh, thanks. I always say they probably didn't know what they were doing because I was the first. I probably, probably missed some credits. They didn't even catch it. But anyway, it would be fun to hear from them what their experiences were. But anyway, there's kind of some strange things about the GATE program and how we are wired differently, how that might have set us on a slightly different path. How, I mean, there were like weird little commonalities. Like these classes, a lot of times were held in like trailers. Ours was in a trailer. It's like mobile trailer things. Um, yeah, I don't know. A lot of people talk about them they having to like drink this like pink drink or fluoride something. I don't know. I don't
What?
exactly remember that part, but I do know that a lot of my childhood memory is very scattered. There's a lot of holes in my childhood memory. So it could be that if that felt traumatic to me that I don't remember it. Swish it, not like fully drink it, but swish it.
Did you take whatever this pink stuff was?
I don't remember
You
that. So it
remember?
could be that, but like sometimes I do kind of think that maybe I do because I know that I didn't like going to the nurse's office, and the nurse was next to very close to where we had GT. And so I'm wondering if maybe there was some association that I'm just not wanting to like connect.
Kind of blocked it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I was
wild. It is.
in
It's wild though. Oh, there's actually several people in the chat who were involved in it. I love it. You guys are our people.
huh. I'll have to look that up because that reminds me of something, but I don't know what it reminds me of. I'll have to think
I
about that later.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I can put a poll. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. This is a new feature in StreamYard that we can add a poll. So go for it.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Widgets?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I was in like the honors is what they called it, the honors classes in high
Uh-huh.
school. Then when I got into like 11th or 12th grade, I flunked out of those. English and then AP US history. I flunked out of them because I just got into this mental block state where I could not write essays anymore. I started off writing like really, really elaborate essays that the teacher didn't even know what to do with. And then it just turned off. I couldn't write anymore. And I never got straight A's once. I did not perform well in school. Um, but I'm pretty sure I was ADHD, and I think what they call that is maybe twice exceptional, which means that um, like the ADHD kind of makes you normal in a way, so
Mm-hmm.
that you don't seem like you have ADHD, and so that you don't seem like you're gifted or whatever. I think that's what happened. Um, yeah, I think that's what happened. Like I sort of flew under the radar both for ADHD and whatever because it's a handicap almost, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When I say ADHD, I don't mean like how everyone says, "Oh, everyone's a little ADHD." No, I mean it's a daily thing that I have to go through.
Like
That
it's kind of debilitating in a way. Yeah.
yeah, like without medication, like you cannot like if your brain doesn't feel like doing anything, you cannot do anything. Are you the same way?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, like it is a disorder. It's not just something that everyone has a little bit of. It is a clinical disorder that you do not want to have that makes it very difficult to do things on a daily basis. And that is what a clinical disorder means.
Ah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, let's get to the next topic, shall we? Kelly, would you rather uncover a government secret or prove a paranormal? Okay, would you rather uncover a government secret or a paranormal phenomenon?
I love my government secrets because I think I would probably have a better chance of being able to prove it. And I don't know. I guess although I also would be setting myself up for more pushback because it is the government, and these people would be actively trying to push back against me. So yeah.
You're
Yeah, I see
motivated by
some in the chat
justice.
saying paranormal, paranormal. The government will take you out.
I think you're motivated by justice.
Yes, very much so.
I would say paranormal because I like solving puzzles. I'm probably more motivated. I'm definitely motivated by justice, especially like that's why I can't work at someone else's company. If I see something that is unjust at a company, I get fired, basically, is what happens.
Yep.
Because that's how companies work. I should share. You didn't read my last play that I shared you, but I should share with you another play that I think you'll enjoy. That's on that topic. It's actually only like 8 pages, so maybe you'll read that one. I think it's very entertaining. But I would rather uncover a paranormal phenomenon because it would change the way we think about reality.
Ah,
If there
that's
is
a really
some
good
new
answer.
paranormal phenomenon, then our entire mental model of how the world works changes. If we prove something like telepathy, then it just changes the way you think about everything, right? That's the kind of thing I want to do.
Yeah, that's
Like if
amazing.
aliens are real, if telepathy is real, if time travel is real, if ghosts are real, then your entire
Yeah.
mental model of the entire universe is fundamentally different in a way that no other change can be. If you prove that 9/11 was an inside job, okay, but if a caveman 10,000 years from now finds that out, who cares? But take that same discovery of telepathy to a caveman 10,000 years in the future. It's like, whoa, it's still meaningful outside of time. Whereas, like, a political government secret is only relevant to a very small amount of people in a very small amount of time. That's my answer.
Yeah, man, that's good.
Okay, I'll answer this one first. What scares you more, something human like a cereal? Well, I already know this answer. Something human or something unknown? These are good questions. Good job, ChatGPT. I should put this on the screen so people can see.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I'll
Let me
take
read.
we were
Can
we
you-
were 50-50 on the poll, so I'll take that one off. And then
How many
real quick,
people
I was
voted,
gonna say,
though?
I don't know.
That sounds
I can put it
suspicious.
back on. And also Zero Griffin said, in one dimension, Charlie is dead. In another dimension, Charlie is alive.
True statement. Statistically speaking, that is a true statement.
Let's see if it'll tell me how many people voted.
I'm suspicious that it was only 2 people.
It was only 2 people. Come on, you guys. Do y'all see the poll? Are y'all just not voting? Like everybody
Janine
was
says
saying.
I didn't see the poll.
Oh.
Well, someone saw the poll.
Let's
Yankee Wee
see.
says, so some people saw it and some people didn't. If you're on
Okay.
X, you wouldn't have. Well, if you're on X, you wouldn't be able to comment
Show it.
anyway.
Hold on.
Maybe it's buggy.
Let me see if I
If
can.
it's brand new, maybe it's buggy.
Yeah, it is brand new. It's brand new. So, okay. Well, we'll keep
moving on.
trying. Yep.
What scares you more, something human or something unknown? I'll just go to the statistical answer. I would say something human because what's more likely to kill me? Probably something human, not something paranormal or extraterrestrial. So I'll just appeal to statistics there. Pretty boring answer. Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, I think something human.
Okay, next question. Have you ever changed your mind completely about a case or theory after new evidence? What was it? Yeah, Chris Watts case. I, well, and even the Charlie Kirk case. So absolutely, yeah. Like the
Yeah.
Chris Watts case, had assumed that he killed everyone for a while, but then what I did was there's this, I think, 6,000 page long discovery document that was released, and I never read it front to cover. And it's basically all of the evidence that was ever collected for the case by the police. They had like 3 months to do it before he pled out. So 6,000 pages, basically the whole case. After about a year, someone sent that to me. I didn't really realize that it was something I could read. And so I read it front to cover in several sittings. And I just knew. I knew what happened. I was like, I was reading a novel that just told me exactly what happened. It was just right there. It was so obvious after reading the whole discovery in full context. I don't know why other people who read that whole discovery don't come to the same conclusion, but apparently they don't. But yeah, that changed my mind for sure. And then on the Charlie Kirk case, I never came to a conclusion per se because I didn't know. I think there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of we don't really know what happened, and we're always just continuously speculating. We think it might be this, but we're not really like there's definitely some commentators, I'm not going to call anyone out, but there's definitely some commentators who don't actually subscribe to anything. They just share thoughts. There's a lot of that going on, and I do it too sometimes. So
I mean, in some
yeah,
cases, it's fine to play it
yeah,
safe and
yeah.
to just, toe the line. But at some point, people do, I think, naturally want to understand where you genuinely stand, right? So they can
Yeah.
understand how your approach may potentially influence the way you present the case. I think that's just reasonable. That's fair for the audience.
And I would put it in the context of the NTSB. From what I understand, I've never worked for the NTSB. I've never gone super, super deep into any NTSB cases. For those who don't know, the NTSB is a federal organization. It is the only American federal agency that has worldwide respect because they actually have methodology, and nobody else in government does. But when an airplane crashes and there is an American on board anywhere in the world, the NTSB, or if it's an American-made aircraft, the NTSB will be involved in figuring out what happened, why, and how we can stop it from happening in the future. I think they are by far the most respected organization, federal global organization in the world, just because of their methodology, of their not diagnostic methodology, but their investigative methodology, how they approach not making conclusions at the beginning of a case. When you listen to one of their press briefings at the beginning of a case, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. We just got here. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. For weeks and weeks, they just say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But then when they come out with their final report, they know everything because they know what they're doing. They know when to say, I don't know. And then they know when to say, I know. That's methodology and practice. So, I forget where I was going with that. I just like talking about the NTSB. I forget
I
where I
did
was
take a
going with
look
that.
at their preliminary investigation of the of that of the plane. That I knew some of the folks that were on that jet. It was quite
Mm-hmm.
interesting. We'll have to take a look at it later on, not in this stream, but I think you'll be interested. You'll be interested in it. I mean, it's quite tragic. Quite tragic.
Yeah. I will take any opportunity to brag on the NTSB. So, next one. If you could interview one person connected to a mystery, alive or dead, who would it be? Any mystery? If you think of one, go. I'm going to think of one too.
Oh, okay. All right. One of these days, we should talk about John Wilkes Booth.
Which one?
Oh man, John St. Helen. Oh man, he had like all these different names. Okay.
And there's this
People.
body that they paraded around, right?
Yes, yes. And I spoke to, I actually did these stories when I lived in Memphis. Okay. Because it was connected to Memphis, and that Kathy Bates, the actress, her grandfather, I believe grandfather or great grandfather, his name was Finus Bates. And
Sounds like a dinosaur name.
right? I know, what a name. And he like had acquired the body and paraded it around. Yeah, and it was bizarre until it got lost.
Wasn't there some dude? I just listened to a story on this when I was at work. There was some dude who said that he was John Wilkes Booth, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean,
But then apparently it was debunked by
long.
somebody.
Well, so I mean,
There was like a
I
standoff at some cabin somewhere, right?
So
Where someone
I
got
did a
shot.
really, really, really deep dive on this. Like even went to go look physically at marriage records of this John St. Helen, which was his like new alias when he married this woman. I want to say her name was Mary or something. But anyway, like I went and literally looked at in Tennessee the records, and I can, if we want to go over this
Like the
on one of
newspaper
our episodes
machine.
one night. It actually in the physical big book. I didn't even have to
Wow.
use the microfilm or the microfiche. Yeah,
Wow.
they had it. Yeah, I went to the courthouse, and it's like, I think it was anyway, very remote part of Tennessee. And yeah, I used to get to do really, really cool stuff. But he lived all over the place, including in a spot in Texas, and then ultimately in Enid, Oklahoma was where he died, allegedly. And yeah, so that would be fun to get to chase that one down. That's the first one that comes to mind.
We need to figure out a format that works well where I present my conspiracy theory that I really like, or it doesn't have to be conspiracy theory, just some kind of unsolved case. And I guess you would sort of interrogate me in a friendly way
Mhm.
that's comfortable. And then
Yeah.
opposite. We'll have to figure that
Yeah.
out. You want to move on?
Sure.
I didn't answer that one.
Did you have anyone?
I do. Whoever designed the Great Pyramid of Giza, I want to talk to him. That's who I want
Got
to
it.
talk to. Close second would be Nikola Tesla, but that's not really a case or a theory. Because he
There were some
invented basically
interesting-
everything.
Nice. There
Billy
were some
the Kid.
interesting ones. Billy the
Brushy
Kid,
Roberts.
the folks that disappeared at Roanoke. Amelia Earhart. Oh, I'm the modern day Nancy Drew. Thank you. Jack the Ripper. Jesus. Yeah. You guys are awesome.
Okay, we have one more question here that isn't quite as... I don't really know what it's supposed to be. It says, what role do you think you play in this duo? The rational investigator, the open-minded theorist? Because I told the AI bot those for 2 hosts. I would say that in our live stream so far, I'm usually the more critical one. Would you agree? Yeah.
Yes. But don't worry, I'm regaining my voice.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think because you've been doing the physical work of the recreation. And so a lot of what you have been doing has been proving out your theory. and in a physical context. And so who better to stand up for that and explain it fully than the one who's literally doing it on the day to day?
And I really like debate too, just in
Yeah,
general.
you've been wonderful at that.
Thank you.
You've been wonderful. I think I
And
had a few laughs. And I love to engage the chat. And,
yeah,
I'd like to think I'm a good critical thinker too. I add some unexpected, I don't know, comments and interests too.
what I enjoy
Some
is
zingers.
when something new comes up, like someone says, this is what happened or that's what happened. And I have a reaction to it. And I look at you and you have a different reaction to it. I might expect you to have the same, but you have a different one. That's really interesting. And I think that's really valuable because we agree on
Yeah.
most of pretty much everything in the case for the most part. So it's really
Yep.
helpful when we do have the points of disagreement.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go on to the next section now, and I will put out a prompt to the audience. If you would like to ask about specific cases, theories, conspiracies, mysteries that we should comment on briefly, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a list of topics, and I'm going to give my quick take on it, and then I guess Kelly will as well, just to sort of test the water on theories to figure out where do you stand on this? Where do I stand on it? So if you would like to have us respond to a certain theory, case, mystery, whatever, please post it in the chat and tag Try and Prove It. I think it doesn't have the highlight feature though. So when someone does tag you, it doesn't highlight in orange the way it does on YouTube. They should fix that. But tag us and make sure it has a question mark or not I guess it doesn't have to have a question mark. It's not a question. But just give us some topics you would like us to respond to fast. Okay. First things first. Do you listen to Joe Rogan? No is okay.
I listen to the clips that I see on X or YouTube, and I most of the time find him to be rather uninformed.
Okay. I do quite a bit, but I'll defend him though. He goes through so many different topics. He talks to so many different people. So, he does have access to a lot of people who are very informed on a lot of things. So you can certainly say that he should be better informed. But his scope, like if you think about Big Five, personality, five-factor model, he's extremely high in openness to experience. So I got to give him credit, cut him some slack for just the amount of topics that he learns about. He's a very good student. I'll say that for sure. And the clips that you see on YouTube, that the popular podcasts with the big name celebrities, that's only like not maybe the tip of the iceberg, but it's kind of like the tip of the iceberg as far as what he does in the day to day. Not all of the podcasts that he does are going to make it onto YouTube in a way that you're going to see. So I have tremendous respect for just the scope that he's able to work with. Like there's a podcast that he's talking to Robert Downey Jr. on. I have no idea what on earth they're talking about the whole time. Then he can talk about this. He can talk about any topic. And if he can sound even moderately informed on all of them, or at least most of them, I have a lot of respect for him there. But I do listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit, more the clips rather than the full podcast, because I don't have time for that usually. So I do listen to a lot of the clips, but not so much recently, though. The Y Files? No.
I feel like I tried listening to one or two of them. It just didn't grab me. It was a little slow. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to give it I'm just gonna, maybe I got to give it another try. Maybe I caught them on and off episode.
I'll send you my favorite one. It's about the
Okay.
moon. It's
Okay.
not a real story, but it's a really good one. I'll send you a really good one. Okay, I love the Y Files. I think it's great. He's not been doing so much recently, though. I think he's kind of in a rut right now, but he has a lot of really good videos. Ancient Aliens,
Never heard of it.
never heard of it. Good job.
Mm-mm.
I don't watch that either. What's your favorite place to hear about these mysteries, conspiracy theories?
I do enjoy Netflix and the I guess we would say the usual streaming suspects, but I really love podcasts, the traditional kind of podcasts also
Mm.
that aren't just video driven. I would say I'm actually probably far more productive when I'm listening to podcasts versus
Mhm.
getting wrapped up in watching them. So I can be, working, doing a bunch of laundry, whatever, and not feeling like I've got to like not miss a thing, that's going on TV. So yeah, I mean, I think, gosh, I'm trying to think some of my favorite. Oh gosh, it's gonna take me a second. I'll pull up what some of my favorite go tos are on like Spotify, because there's a couple of them where it's like you cannot go wrong. Anything that they put out, it's gonna be solid.
Okay, now we're going to go into the big cases and mysteries. What do you think about Bigfoot?
Well,
There's a new
wait
documentary out, right?
for you, where do you peruse other like any other documentaries,
Mostly YouTube. The
channels,
Y
anything like
Files
that?
was great. Sorry. The Y Files was great when he was putting out videos. Not Ancient Aliens. Um, Mostly just YouTube videos. Like I when I go to work, I have the one earbud in,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever the algorithm recommends, if it looks like a good conspiracy theory, it's clickbait for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. What do you think about Bigfoot?
So there is a new documentary that has hit the scene that apparently has been pulled from the scene. They last I checked, I guess it was last week, after it appeared at South by Southwest in Austin, they're saying maybe it got pulled because it was being bought up. The rights were being bought up to it because it was so good. And I think it was debunking Bigfoot, but we'll have to take a closer look. But it was supposed to be going through the whole circuit, of film festivals. And then all of a sudden it was pulled.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to star that. There we go. I'm just looking for people posting topics. Okay. Bigfoot.
What do you think about Bigfoot?
I listened to some random video on it made by a guy who said that he saw one. You know Forrest Galante?
No.
He's a wildlife guy who goes all around the
Okay.
world and finds extinct species all around the world. Like a species in a remote area is supposed to be extinct, and then he goes out there and camps out there with the whole team for like a month or weeks or something, and he finds it and brings it back out of extinction in the public eye at least. The the amount of species that he can find just by spending so much time out there is pretty high, and the number of reports of Bigfoots is pretty high. And when you put the two and two together, it kind of seems like there might be something out there. I'm not going to say there is, but you can't say that there's no reports of it. There's all kinds of reports of it. So maybe there is, maybe there's not. We'll have to see the documentary.
Okay, I'm cracking a smile because of course I had to search do a little quick AI search and for the latest on this Bigfoot controversy, right? And so the documentary introduces 1966 footage that appears to be a quote rehearsal for the 1967 film with a man in a Bigfoot suit more clearly visible. Anyway, it goes on to talk about this South by Southwest Film Fest appearance, and then that things have been pulled. But what made me smirk is that it says under festival drama, it says fans frustrated by the filmmakers say that they could simply release the rehearsal footage if they really
Come
wanted to
on,
prove
not another
the
Blake.
hoax.
I
And
shouldn't have said that.
talk
What did
of
you say?
distributors funding and piracy as stalling tactics.
So they're not releasing what footage?
Fans frustrated by delays say the filmmakers could simply release the rehearsal footage if they really wanted to prove the hoax.
So Blake must work over there.
I thought you would get a big kick out of that. I can't make this up, you guys. I just.
It's always
Anyway.
greed.
I mean, Bigfoot happens.
What do you think the pyramids were?
Hmm.
You think they were tombs?
Hey, I don't know. Very symbolic. In Memphis, what I do know is in Memphis, we had, which also obviously the name Memphis and pyramid, that's a whole thing, right? Yeah.
They have one there. Or I know there's one in Vegas.
Yeah. Yes. In Memphis. So they have this huge pyramid. So that's where the Grizzlies used to play, the basketball team. And anyway, then it went like vacant. It rotted. It was terrible. Like it was going to cost, kind of like the Astrodome here in Houston, it was going to cost way more money to demolish it than it would have been to whatever. They didn't know what to do with it. So it was an eyesore, and the city owned it. So it was a hot mess. Well, then Bass Pro Shop came in. Of all things, Bass Pro Shop came in and turned the pyramid into an epic Bass Pro Shop with a hotel and all these things in it. So anyway.
So you're telling me, how old was that pyramid?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Like maybe 20 years old.
I bring the pop culture to this too.
No, what I'm saying is like maybe 50 years old and it's already broken down. And these pyramids are like at least 4,000 years old.
Yes, they was clearly poorly built.
Yeah. So I think they were not tombs. I think they were machines. And I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. There's this guy, Jeffrey Drum, who lives in Egypt. He's an American, but he moved to Egypt because he was so, like, how we're so obsessed with Charlie Kirk. He's so obsessed with Egyptology and the pyramids and solving those puzzles. And he has an extremely sophisticated, thorough theory on what all of that stuff in Egypt was. And he thinks it was chemistry. You turn on a pyramid, you put in chemicals, and it puts out chemicals. It's just a big chemical reactor. And he has extremely elaborate theories on exactly how it worked. And I want to build one. Maybe on this show one day, soon.
Maybe.
I want to, so the red pyramid of, I think, Dashur he thinks it was an ammonia plant. You put in X chemical, you put in Y chemical, and it produces ammonia. You walk in there, it smells like extremely strong ammonia. The architecture of it is like a machine. It feels like you're walking into a machine. Just industrial machine. That's what it feels like. That's what it smells like. Imagine going into like a paint factory. Imagine the smell. That's what it smells like, the red pyramid. And he has this, all of the watermarks on the wall indicate that there was all kinds of fluid in there. all kinds of chemical residue on the ceiling, indicating that there were chemicals in there. It's a freaking machine. It's a freaking
That's
chemical
wild.
reactor. And
That's
he
wild.
built one. Someone that followed him built one, but it couldn't withstand the pressure. This is really interesting. It ties back into the work that I do. You see an anomaly, you try to reproduce what you think happened, and then you find a problem, and then you realize that the solution to that problem was one of the anomalies. This person tried to recreate the red pyramid, and as soon as he turned it on, as soon as he poured water down it, it exploded. The reason it exploded was because it didn't have it didn't have all of the stones on it. It was just clear plexiglass. When you build that structure out of just plexiglass without all of the stones around it forming the pyramid, it just explodes because it's so much pressure. But when you put all of the stones around it, holding back the pressure, then it doesn't explode. They haven't gotten to that part yet, but really interesting. And once I have the opportunity to, I'm going to build one like probably the size of this room or something. And it's going to be, that's what I want to do. I want to build a pyramid that actually does something. The same way I'm going to do with Charlie Kirk, demonstrating how I'm going to demonstrate how a pyramid works.
That's fascinating.
What do you think happened at Butler?
Oh man. First and foremost, I think it was fake and gay. I thought that from day one. Promise you. I can remember that day that it was kind of afternoonish, early evening ish. Like in the same way that I remember when I learned about Charlie. So interestingly, my mom and I had a conversation just like that. And yeah, I thought it was fake right away.
The last
But I have like
content,
different reasons that I can't say publicly that, like I have that I think.
I kind of want to have Allgeist on to talk about that because he has his video on that. We should talk about that later off air.
Oh yeah, yeah, would love that.
Okay. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. We were on Butler. Yeah, I have no comment on that. But oh yeah, what I was gonna
Because you
say
haven't
was
looked into it enough,
I
or
haven't looked into it enough. But what I will say
yeah.
is the last video I listened to on that topic was an ex-sniper who is apparently someone who would actually know how to do that, how to perform an operation where you take out a top level target. He explained that it was so ridiculous that okay, when I first saw that someone had shot Trump, it's got to be 3 miles away, got to be 4 miles away, it's got to be in the other county. That's the only way. That was my first thought. And then you look at it, and it's I'm not gonna break my rule, but it's next door. It's next door. On a roof. Trump can see him. Everyone can see him. He's silhouetted. So that's all I'm gonna say.
And Dave C, I will work up to being able to talk about it. I just need to be very strategic about how I explain what I say because just you have to trust me here. So
Yeah. Aliens. Do you think aliens are real?
yeah, I think that in my mind, there's just no way that we are the only living, breathing, advanced beings in this universe. What do you think?
I think that there is so much evidence of them that I think it's ridiculous when people say that there's no evidence.
Yeah.
Phoenix Lights, for example. You want a White House lawn experience? That's it. That's what happened that night. That was the White House lawn moment. And there's so many other examples of it all throughout time. So when people say that, oh, there's no evidence, Elon Musk says, if they're there, they sure are subtle. Why aren't there videos of it?
Mm-hmm.
There are videos of it. There are so many reports from so many different people in so many different contexts from so many different countries in so many different time periods that Occam's razor applies. What's the simplest explanation? Is it that all of these people are just somehow horribly mistaken and everyone is just stupid and has no idea what they're talking about and it's all a conspiracy and it's all just people trying to play tricks on us and everyone's wrong, everyone's mistaken, it's all just an illusion, it's all a psyop, or it's aliens? At least, like, I think it's aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but the ones that are credible, it's probably aliens. And you look at the moon landing. Let's go to the moon landing now. You look at the moon landing and I see a technology curve that doesn't make sense.
I'll be right back.
Okay. We have Sputnik and let me mute her mic. Muted. And I don't have control over that. I'm actually going to wait for her to come back. I'll read some comments. All right, where's this poll thing? Poll. Where's the poll? Unmute.
I'm back.
Okay, this is for you too. So when I look at the moon landings in 1969, when is Sputnik? Sputnik is 1959 or 58, something like that. It's like 10 years before the Apollo landings. Sputnik was the very first human-made satellite ever. It's like 11 years before the Apollo landings. And we were sending people around the moon, like what, 7 years, 8 years after freaking Sputnik? After we didn't even have a single satellite in space. 8 years
Right.
later, we're sending people around the moon.
Suddenly able to send people. Right.
That technology curve, when I look at modern programs like the Starship program, the Falcon 9 program, and other national entities programs, the technology curve doesn't work, doesn't make sense. So then you look at the footage from Apollo and you look at all the conspiracy claims and you look at the deniers claims and then you look at the pro science people, I guess, claims. There's some really good names out there. Dave McKeegan. There's a douchebag guy who I don't really like as much, but there's a lot of people who argue this back and forth. A lot of smart people. I pretty much always prefer the people who say it was real. When you look at the footage, when you look at this detail, that detail, the people supporting Apollo always win, in my opinion. So you look at these two things. Number one, the technology curve doesn't make sense at all. And then number two, all the footage seems like it's real. None of the attempts to disprove the footage succeed. They always fail. There's always just a technical thing that people just don't understand. It's always a misunderstanding. There's always context that properly and adequately explains it. So how do we put these two things together and make sense? Well, if you look, have you heard of Bob Lazar?
The name
No.
sounds familiar, but
You would know if you
let me
did.
see. Okay.
I'll simplify it. If we have access to reverse engineered alien craft in super deep levels of our military, then And if we had that in 1960, so I will explain. Bob Lazar is the guy who claimed that he worked on UFOs.
Got it.
Does that
Yep.
ring bells?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm looking at his
Okay.
picture now, and I connected the dots. Yep.
Perfect. So if you grant that Bob Lazar is telling the truth, that we have UFOs in our possession, probably before Apollo, then okay, let's pull that into the picture. Just assume that's true. Look at these two things again. Number one, technology curve doesn't make sense. Number two, all the footage looks real. Like my biggest thing is the dust. When you look at how the dust falls, you can't fake that on Earth. You just can't. It would have to be a massive vacuum chamber, and nobody has a vacuum chamber like even 1% that size. So we know the footage is real. So technology curve doesn't make sense, and it's real. So they cheated. How did they cheat? I think they were taking trips to the moon every Wednesday. What's the biggest limitation to engineering in space? Test cycle, test cycle duration. With something like Starship, you get a test once every like 3, 4, 5 months. You build one thing and then you test it, and then you have to wait 5 months to try again. Build one thing, test, and with Apollo, it was 1 year test cycle. You build one thing, try it one way, it fails, you have to wait another year to try again. That's why these programs take so long, is because of the test cycle. So the way you would cheat in Apollo is you take a trip to the moon in your UFO every Wednesday, and you learn, you test things, and you learn how to do it right within a decade by increasing your test cycle frequency. So I think there's a lot you can gain by sort of meshing these theories together. By meshing Bob Lazar with Apollo, it can start maybe making a little bit more sense. So I don't know if that's what happened, but I think that's one of the best ways to explain it. What do you think about the moon landing?
I wanted to mention to Zach here.
How do we get rid of the poll?
There we go. It's gone now, and I'll remove it completely after this. But if you have information on that, I haven't looked that up. Was that recent?
I don't know.
how. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or recent or anything like that. But Zach, if you have more details on that, please feel free. You can send a DM on X or something.
I think
like that,
Butler
or
might be
drop
one
it
of
in
the
chat.
ones. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
I think Butler might be one of the ones where we maybe just kind of ignore it for a little while and then wait for some other people to be in power and then maybe start looking at it again.
Yep.
That's one of the scary ones. That's, whoops. We have lost Kelly.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. That was so crazy.
I think you're
We
back.
were the target. Oh my gosh.
I guess so. It's probably just a
Like,
bug though.
whoa. Okay. Yeah, both of my computer and my second monitor all like powered off for a second there, and then all of a sudden flashed back on.
Is there a chord that you're pressing on?
Nope.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
That's weird. And it usually happens in a really weird time, doesn't it? It's always at a weird spot.
That's the second time it's happened, I feel like within the last week, maybe.
Do you remember what happened right before last time?
I know, we'll have to go back and look into that.
Was it during a stream?
Yeah,
They're watching you.
definitely.
Fortunately, they haven't gotten to me yet, though.
Lucky
what was I
you.
gonna do? I was gonna do something, but I forgot. Okay. What do you think about the moon landing?
I mean, the more that I look at, I really hadn't like paid that much attention to it. And, like, I feel like we had to have gone there, right? Come on, right? But then maybe not. So I really
So you
haven't
don't
looked
know.
at it. I don't
Okay.
know. You're gonna have to sell me on it or not.
I'm gonna put out an announcement. I already did, but we're looking for people who doubt the current Artemis program. They are, at least supposedly, there are humans who are in deep space right now, coming back home from a trip around the moon right now as we speak. They're still out there. I don't remember exactly when they're getting home. I think it's pretty soon, within a couple of days, I believe. I think Kelly's pulling it up, but they'll be back home soon, allegedly. But we're looking for people who do not think that's real, because I think it's real. I think Kelly thinks it's real, and we want to have some people on who disagree so we can talk about it.
Yeah, and there were some really interesting videos Jordan and I were passing back and forth on X where people were saying like, "Oh, look, this you know, well, okay, so I live in Houston. So I grew up being able to go and have the NASA frozen food, as they call it. Wait. Oh, the hand.
They want you to put the hand on your shoulder.
Okay. All right. Let me rig it up. Hold on. I didn't want to disrupt you, Jordan. And so I didn't want to bring too much, I didn't want to upset you with too many antics at this point. But this is actually pretty funny.
That's a great thumbnail. But
On this. Okay. Wow.
you were talking about
okay.
your friends in Houston.
Yeah. So being in Houston and growing up, getting to tour NASA and getting to have like the frozen ice cream and it's like dehydrated food and all the stuff, right? And it's just kind of like a way of life. And I have friends who work at NASA, and I keep meaning to text one of them who has actually worked on the spacesuits for years. The reason why I think that he might actually be willing to talk with us is because he has been on national TV before, not in like the capacity of NASA, but on something else. So like maybe. Anyway, I would like to be able to learn more from someone on the inside, or maybe from someone who's recently left. So somebody out there has got to know someone. Are y'all able to take me seriously with this on my shoulder?
Have you heard of the Shroud of? We're still on the hand.
I've heard a little bit of it. But
For the audience, the Shroud of Turin.
Oh yeah. Have you guys heard of it?
It is a shroud that people think was the burial cloth of Jesus because of a very odd image that it has sort of burned into it. Go ahead.
I was trying to remember if I feel like, was there something that was recently, has it been talked about more recently? Or
I don't
know
think
that
so.
Okay. So I went to the boys and I went to DC, not this past summer, but the summer before. And we went to the National Bible Museum, I think it was what it was called. And it was actually very cool. If anyone, has a DC trip planned in the future, it's a beautiful museum. And for what it's worth, like, we're not super religious people. We're non-denominational, just general Christian believers. Okay. And it was fascinating, even for just the kids and I to be able to go, and they were entertained. They
What was it
had
called again?
the National Bible Museum. It is a private museum. So even though it says national, it is one that you have to pay to go into. It's not like a technically government museum. but it's beautiful. And they have all kinds of, I mean, more copies and I don't know, relics of all different kinds of scripture, all this stuff. I mean, a Bible. Well, I don't even know how to describe all the stuff that they have there, but it's massive. It's like 5 stories. Huge. Are you
I
pulling
think
it
I
up?
just think so. Here we go. Go into this one. Remove this place.
Yeah, that looks right.
Did they have the shroud there when you were there?
I feel like they might have had a piece of it. That's what was in my mind. Why I was wondering if there was something, that had recently been discussed, but I can't tell you for sure.
So it's really interesting. For people who don't know, there is an image that is sort of burned into the cloth, and it's a photographic negative. When you take a picture of it and look at it in the negative, the image on the cloth gets way, way better. I'll actually pull up a picture of it. So it's just really weird, but it's supposed to be thousands and thousands of years old. So how did they get a negative image onto cloth thousands of years ago? Is this going to be a full screen image? Reject optional cookies. Here we go. This is a good one. This is the cloth. This is the shroud. It is supposed to be the actual literal. Let's get this comment off. The actual, and there we go. This is supposed to be the burial shroud of Jesus. It's what it's supposed to be. A lot of people think that it is literally, that this image here is literally Jesus. And the reason they think that is because this is viewed in a negative. This isn't what it looks like in real life. You have to take a photo of it and make it a negative photo to see this. In real life, it looks way more,
Like faded,
boring.
monotone.
Yeah, faded, monotone. So it's really weird how you get that image on it. And a lot of people think that when Jesus was resurrected or whatever, there was this light that emanated from him and burned the cloth and burned that image into it. And there's so much like scientific work has been done on this, and there's so much controversy over it. A lot of people think it's literally Jesus's literal burial cloth, and a lot of people don't think it is. But the question everyone has is, how on earth do you reproduce that image on cloth? Period. Even in today's, even with today's technology, it's getting late. How do you create this image? There's just really weird aspects of it that people don't understand how to do. However, I think I can reproduce it because there's someone else who already did. So that'll be interesting. If I ever have the time and the resources to reproduce this exact shroud, I'm going to try to. And someone else already did, and it's really interesting. Okay. We're getting close to 3 hours, so we're going to wind down here pretty soon. Atlantis, do you think Atlantis is real?
Yeah. Why not?
There's some really interesting stuff about that we can.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what the dodecahedron is?
I feel like I should. Oh my gosh. I know that I've heard of it, and as soon as you tell me about it, it's going to jog my memory. Hold on,
I got you.
okay. I'm looking right now.
It's a huge mystery.
Okay, I do not know enough about this to to weigh in on this.
Yeah, they found like thousands and thousands and thousands of them in the archaeological record, and there's like 20 different theories on what it was supposed to be used for. And Like there's so many different versions of it, theories, like nobody can agree what it was, and it's just this huge mystery. But I'm not going to spoil it for you though. I think it's solved. I think it's been
Okay.
solved for a very long time. But it's a pretty interesting mystery. And then 9/11, was it an inside job or not? There's a lot of debate on it, but what I want to do, did you have something else to say on that?
No, I look forward to your analysis.
9/11, what I want to do is I want to build a tower and I want to see if I can get it to experience a progressive collapse. If they want to say that it was not an inside job, that it was just a natural failure mode with a natural progressive collapse, I should be able to come on the Try and Prove It show and I should be able to prove it. I should be able to prove that yes, if you get the right enough metal, enough concrete, and a big enough tower that you design the right way, I should be able to get a tower to just come down like this and collapse into its own footprint. I want to build a 9/11 tower and figure out if it's possible to get it to just crumble into its own footprint or if you have to use charges.
That's phenomenal.
Because I think some people tried to do it, but it was like a really small model and it wasn't very effective. But I want to do a big one. So I want to build a pyramid. I want to reproduce the Shroud of Turin, and I want to build a twin tower.
My goodness. Okay, well, we have got to
But we
get
have-
Jordan, we've got to get this Try and Prove It popping. Okay, you guys. So we're counting on y'all. And this is our first really exclusive Try and Prove It stream. So you guys are in on literally the ground level.
But we got to solve Charlie Kirk first. That's
Yeah.
the doorway to everything. Okay. Do you have any other conspiracies you want to talk about?
No, I think I am pretty much done, but I did want to make sure that people are directed to the GoFundMe for you and your work. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cami, for sharing that.
Okay. Let's go through these really fast because I'm getting tired too. How about the use of hallucinogens like ayahuasca, psilocybin to get in touch with the divine? Yeah, probably because there's so much consistency and experiences between them. I haven't looked into it enough to be sure, but I think there's definitely something pretty spooky going on there. You just did that one. Okay, we're going to skip that one. And I think we're good. How do I get this off?
Okay.
Hide. There we go. Any comments, Kelly?
No, I think that covered the most of it. Y'all, most of all, we just really, really, really appreciate you so much for being here. And make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you've liked the stream. Make sure that you have subscribed to our individual channels, hopefully as well. Jordan Henshaw and Kelly Raybon. Yeah, and we'll be back on Saturday as Jordan continues the testing.
Yes, we're doing another test this Saturday at the same time, I think. We haven't discussed that, but probably around the same time at least.
Yep.
For the Charlie Kirk case. We're going to have an additional solenoid, which means I'll be able to do not just the pendant, but also the necklace behavior as well. I'm going to have 2 cameras, one on the rifle as well. And it's going to be an even more legit stream than it was last time. So, if you don't think Artemis was real, get in touch with us at tryandproveit@gmail.com, exactly what you would expect it to be, no capitalization. And maybe you can come on. And we're asking for more Charlie Kirk theorists who have their own ideas as to what happened to Charlie Kirk to come on, because we're still focusing on that case for the time being. We're probably going to do an Artemis one and an Artemis episode here pretty shortly, but we're still definitely focused on Charlie Kirk for sure, at least for a little while longer as our primary focus. So again, we have IFT3, as I call it, Integrated Flight Test. Integrated Field Test. IFT3 is stolen from the Starship program. Integrated Field Test, number 3 this Saturday. Any closing thoughts, Kelly?
I'm just excited to see how things advance going into this weekend. So you feel like you've got a hold on the weather. You've modified things just a touch. It
No, I don't
sounds
have a
like,
hold on
and
the weather.
Okay.
I think I checked it earlier. Weather's fine. Yeah, the weather's going to be fine. And I'm making progress towards that every day. I just did the plumbing for that solenoid, and I need to do a standing pressure test on it. Need to do the electrical, and I need to figure out how to get both of them on my body at the same time. But yeah, we're making progress. Yeah, so we're doing pretty well on that. And I did my scouting mission the other day as well, to find a better location that's less windy. And Kelly helped me out with that. Thank you. Okay,
Of
I'm getting
course.
sleepy. I think Kelly is too. We're
Yes,
gonna go
I
ahead
am. I am.
and say good night to everyone. Thanks, everyone. Good night.